Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, NE150 Introduction to 3D Modeling and Game Art. And this is Module 4, and we are on Part 3 of the high poly modeling of the battle axe. So let's go ahead and get started. The idea is now to separate the twine, or the wrap, if you want to call it that, leather wrap, around the handle. You're supposed to duplicate this before you started modeling the wrap. So you need to go ahead and find, let's go ahead and see if we can find that. There's the axe itself. And we have the wrap, there it is. So this is without the wrap, okay? And let's see here, duplicate. Is that the axe? Take a look at that. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up to the axe itself and get that level, get that about the same. These are duplicates now, and I just want the handle to be where, it's good, there it is right there. I'm going to go ahead and hold the Alt key and the arrow key that goes up and just move that up. Kind of where the other one is. There we go. I'm going to hit the 4 key for wireframe. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so the idea is we have the original low poly. I think that's what's important. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hide that for now. Let's see, where was that? There it is. I'm going to rename that. Just plain a axe original will be fine. Alright. And let's turn that off for now. And I'm going to move this up. I want that to be moved up. So I'm going to use that arrow that goes up. Just click on that arrow and it's pushing it all the way to the top. And here's my duplicate here. I don't need that. Here's the axe. Okay. Is that by itself? Let's take a look. Let's move it over to the side and then bring it back again. Okay. So now what we're going to do with this is we want to separate that leather strap from the base. Okay. That's really important. And I do not want to click on this and select this in face mode. That would take me forever to do this. Look at that. I'd have to do this, and I really don't want to do that. Okay, that's kind of messy. So what I'm going to do, it's not as painful and it's a little easier, is to go in here and we're just going to do the pull. Okay, so there may be some parts in here I have to really watch for, but I'm going to go ahead and just hold the shift key down and start selecting those larger pieces here and just walk around it like what I'm doing here. And we're just clicking on everything but the straps. Okay, the idea, this is way easier. Okay, now you can do, instead of clicking, because you might get tired after a while, I'm holding the shift key down, you could use the paint brush, right? Okay, so you could click on this guy, okay, and just make it a little bit smaller, okay, and just paint that area by holding the shift key down. Okay, and that might be a little faster for you. Okay, we don't want to miss anything, so that part's done. What you want to do is you just want to go all the way down the whole entire thing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Make it a little easier. It's hard to get in these spots though, unfortunately, because we don't want to select anything accidentally. There we go. Okay, so I got it started, and that's what we're doing. Leave the straps. Okay, we want to leave those straps, but we want to get everything but the straps. Okay, so I'll come back, and once you do that, I'm going to pause the video, and you pause the video too, and just continue going down, and just select everything but the straps. Alright, I'll be back in. Okay, we're back. I've got all that selection actually selected. Everything is selected that I need, and everything but the straps. So that's easier than actually trying to go in there and select all the straps. Okay, but we want the straps selected, otherwise we can't get this to work. Now, there are one or two things we can do. We can go ahead and extract what we have. Okay, there's a couple things we can do because it doesn't matter. We can extract what we have and then separate it, and that'll separate the two out. Or if I want to inverse that selection, I can go to select inverse, and it'll select the straps. So I wanted to show you that, which is pretty cool. So that inverse will select everything that's just the straps, and so I can actually pull those straps off now, which is really cool. So I'm going to go hold down the spacebar, go to edit mesh, and go down to extract. Go down to extract and go ahead and click on it. There we go. That looks great. And looks like everything is good to go. So I'm going to click off anywhere. Go back to object mode up here under the menu bar. Right click over it and go to selection. And you can see there's our selection. Okay, which is great. So I'm going to take this guy right here, and I'm going to put this in a layer. Okay, and I'm going to call that layer old handle if we need it, which we're not going to use. Old handle. Click on save, and we're going to turn it off. So the idea now is we have something that's a little easier to work with. There we go. And we got a long ways to go. Oops, I shouldn't have taken that. That was a mistake right there. That's not good. I don't know why I did that. Let me go back. Let me click on that face. Let's extract that. That was a mistake. Extract. There we go. Alright, so that's taken out. Go ahead and go to selection mode and put that in that layer here. So right click over and go to add selected objects. There we go. And so that's gone. Let's look at the bottom, see where we're at with that. Okay. Looks like I got the bottom on here. So select that. Let's also put that in there. I'm right clicking over and go to add selected objects. Okay. So do we have the top? I don't think so. I think that, yep, I do. That's weird why I did that. So let's put that up there too. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to focus on this. So let's go ahead and click on this. Looks like this is in pieces. Okay, which is fine. Click on that and select the whole thing. And go into object mode. There we go. And let's go ahead and do a control 1. There we go. Alright, so we need to add edge loops to this. So let's take a look and see how we're going to do that. Alright, so we need to do basically, if we didn't do edge loops, this is what it would look like if you hit the 3 key. It's not terrible, but it doesn't look that great. So we got to kind of define and refine this thing. So I'm going to click on it and hit the 1 key again. And I'm going to show you on one piece, and then you guys can do the rest, because it does take a lot of time. So I'm going to add edge loops. We know how to do that. Okay. So I'm going to add edge loops through here. Okay. Alright, so through here, and through here, and through here. Okay, that's important. And we're going to do it around here and here. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to do it on the upper and lower parts of this object. Again, this is not a lot of fun to do. It takes a long time to get these edge loops looking good. So you just do the inside. Okay, like this. Okay, so you can see I've done on the inside 1, 2, the inside of this one 1, 2, and just do this all the way down. Very time consuming, but it's going to look great. Okay, so we do that to every single one of them all the way down. Okay, again, try to be consistently the same all the way down, otherwise it's going to look really, really weird. And sometimes you don't see the inside, and that's okay. You don't have to do 2 in there, but it really depends on how it's going to look. We can always add more in there. There's this one I could see easily, get 2 in there. Sometimes it's hard to see. And this is hard surface modeling. And this technique supports the cage. Ooh, that's not good. They didn't want to go all the way through, so there's something wrong with that. If something like that happens, that there's something wrong with this particular edge loop. So that could be a number of things why that didn't perform. It's going kind of around this, but it didn't like the other piece. So okay, let's take a look at that, see what happened. Maybe I messed up on this. Okay, so I'm going to go to vertex, and sometimes there are rogue vertices, okay, that cause some issues that don't work so well. And I don't see any. I think we're okay there. Interesting. Another thing I'm going to check is in face mode. So I get that in the face mode. It's acting weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my work. Whenever something starts acting up, it means there's either too much history or you have your scene's starting to get corrupt. So I'm going to delete by type history and go ahead and save my scene. And hopefully we can get this to work a little bit better. 3. I'm going to show you a little tip so save your scene. Little tip here. Yes. And see, things aren't really working the way I want it to, and I'm getting all kinds of warning. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, go to File, New. Okay, don't save. So I got a new scene, and now I'm going to go to File, Import, and find my Maya file. There we go. Let's go to Select Project, or Set Project. Go to Documents, Maya, Projects, any 150. There you go. And we're going to go ahead and go to File, Import now. And OBJ, now we want to go to Maya Scenes, and there we go. Alright, so now let's go ahead and find it. High Poly 3, and let's import. Continue. There we go. So, see if this is working now. Before it was not, so I'm going to right click and go to face mode. Yeah. So, I knew something was up, and you should too. If you go in there and right click on your object and go to face mode, and you select and you can't select your faces, then it's going to have some issues. There's some issues there. So I'm going to just double check and see what's going on here. That one's good. Sometimes there's double faces on these objects, so I'm just kind of going around making sure it's working okay. There we go. And if not, I can fix those. I'm going to hit the F key so I can rotate around that. That's another thing that's kind of annoying with Maya. Its axes gets off kilter, and what you have to do to get that axis rotating properly around the object is you have to select a part of the object, hit the F key, and then zoom back out and rotate around it. But it gets stuck sometimes, and not a whole lot of fun. Alright, so I don't see anything wrong with this geometry. So you just gotta keep problem solving out the best you can, and there's lots of cool tools in your arsenal now that you can use to get those edge loops in there. Because we went down to this far. Let's try and see if it'll work again. Insert edge loop, and let's go ahead and click on it, and you can see that it's not going all the way around for some crazy reason. So what can I do? Of course you can do this. Let me show you. So I'm going to go ahead and go to selection mode, click on it, hold the shift key down, right mouse button, go to multi-cut. I can go in here and cut that and basically move that all the way around. Whoops. Hit the backspace. Okay, or undo, right? So I'm going to click on that and go all the way around until we meet this one. I'm going to slide that up and snap it, and then hit enter. There we go. Alright, so that works. I'm going to hit the I'm going to go ahead and hit the Q key, and let me go back in here and see if we can get this to work again. So I'm going to go into insert edge loop, right? And no can do. There it is. Look at that. Not much there. That one worked a little bit. Alright, so same thing. Go in here. You just gotta problem solve it out, guys. And there's easy multi-cut. Multi-cut from here to here. Okay. And from here to here. And hit enter. There we go. And I'm going to go underneath here. Okay, I'm going to hit the Q key. I'm going to go into selection mode, and I'm going to go to insert edge loop. So let's go ahead and get those edge loops inside here and continue moving down. And obviously we got some problems here too. We can fix that. Okay. And then I'm going to go to this one here and see if I can get that going. That looks good. And let's go ahead and add an edge loop right here. That looks good, getting pretty close. And we just need to add edge loops all over the place. So across there, we need to go across here, which we didn't do. We went across here, and now I need to go across here. Now, it kind of goes up to that point and then stops. Okay? So what I want to do with this, okay, is we should separate these out. We don't want these lines going across here. That's not good. Right there. We don't want that. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to separate that so we won't have any issues with those lines being a problem. Okay. So I have to separate these. Okay, and that will help us a lot. So I'm going to go in here. Like I said, this stuff is not fun. Let's go in here. And this is going to be tough because we're going to go. I'm going to go into face mode, and let's go ahead and do the lasso tool. Hold down the shift key and kind of go across like that and select this part. Here we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of it. do that by hand. See any that I need to get. Looks like this needs to be completed. So I'm going through there and just selecting everything, and I'm going to go ahead and do an extract one more time with these pieces. Alright, just make sure you don't select anything else. So I'm going to go to the side view here, and I'm going to hold down the Control and the Shift and just kind of add to that selection set. What I'm doing is holding the Control and the Shift key, and what that's doing is it gave me a plus. You can see right there, gave me a plus sign. Hold down the Shift key, it doesn't have the plus. So what it's telling you is it's going to add vertices, or excuse me, add faces to your selection. So that looks good. So what we're going to do here is we're going to extract that part and just keep separating it out, and then we can fix things, fix this stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and hold down the space bar, or excuse me, yeah, space bar, I'm sorry, space bar, I'm a little punchy. Space bar, we're going to go into extract, so go down to extract, here we go, and so that is now taken care of. Okay, so how that helps, and did I get that? I guess I did not get that. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, it's separated. Alright, so that piece is separated. So what we can do here is kind of neat. I can go in here and add edge loops in this bottom part, like that, like we have been doing. And then this part right here, and then this part right here. Okay, like that. And it probably will let me go across now. Yep, it will let me go across now, but I don't really like that. I'm gonna do this manually. See if we can get that done. So, right, this one's almost finished. I am going to go in here to the Q key, go into object mode. I'm going to use multi-cut tool. And let's finish this off here on this piece. Remember, I didn't say this was going to be easy. So, if you're all thinking that was going to be easy, it's not. It's not hard work, it's just tedious work. So I'm going to continue adding this. But you're learning a lot, let me tell you. Enter, there we go. And this piece right here can probably go across, although I think this is okay. I just don't want this to squish in. I think we're good there. Okay. You can always check and make sure it doesn't collapse on itself by hitting the 3 key. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's nice and smooth. That looks good. Okay. Alright, let's go back to 1. I'm not entirely happy with these parts right here. It tends to collapse a little bit too much. If I click on that and hit the 3 key, it tends to collapse a little bit. It does look nice though. I do like that. It does look a lot nicer. So that's looking pretty good. So you get the idea. And this, we have some issues right here. So go ahead and hit the 1 key. Figure that out. And I think what the problem with this is if we got this weirdness going on right here. And I really should have an edge loop that goes all the way down, and I'm not sure why we don't, but we don't. So that could be an issue here, because I really can't have something like this. It needs to be all the way over here. That's not how we really built it. So we're going to have some issues with this part. So I have to bring all of that all the way down, all the way through. I don't know if I can do that. Let me see if that'll work. So I'm going to go insert edge loop. See if we can't insert that all the way down. We'll connect that. Oh yeah, look at that. That worked out pretty good. It stopped though. Where did it stop? Right on that edge there. Okay, that's something we can still fix. Okay, so that's fixed, and then we're going to do one more. And this one here. There we go. Does that go all the way down? Yep. Except for down in here. So we'll fix that. Alright, so let's go ahead and select this. And we want to do control 1. We want to isolate that from everything else. Okay, so that only goes so far. And we'll move that around. So I'm going to go multi-cut, click on that, and then all the way in here. There we go. Okay, something's wrong again. Give me a warning. Okay. Remember I told you about the multi-cut tool? If it's acting weird, that's acting really weird. It's giving me a you must end your cut line on a vertex or an edge. It is on an edge. You must not see that edge. Oh, wait a minute. It isn't an edge. It's doing something weird. Okay. So I was at a weird angle, so Control Z back and see if this will work. Let's just go to one edge at a time. Okay, I'm going to go back one more. Whoops. Okay, that looks good. Hit enter. Then that'll work for that one. Do the same thing for that, and then we'll move on down around. No, I didn't want to do that. Watch that cut tool. It'll do things you don't want it to do. There we go, hit enter. Nope, still not seeing that edge. That's interesting. I think it's because I don't see an edge there. Let me do this. It's just invisible. Look, it's not connecting to anything right here. Very strange. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. I think it's because there's that piece right here. And I have to be careful not to delete anything. I'm going to hit the Q key, click off anywhere. Alright, so I think that's fixed. I think that'll work. Alright, so we need to do some edge loops over here. So I'm going to go back into selection mode and go to insert edge loop. And we're going to insert edge loops here and here. And one right on the outside here, like that. And all the way down. Here we go. And we need to make those cuts right here, if we can. Multi-cut. And don't worry if it's not perfectly aligned, that's going to be just fine. Alright, so I think that works good. Okay, click on the Q or the selection tool, and I'm going to go back to selection and hit the 3 key. And you can see that looks much better. Okay, right there. And everything else is looking pretty good. I'm not crazy about what's happening here, but we can check that out later. But that's the idea. You're getting a nice tight edge all the way around the object. That's awesome. Looks really good. Very happy with that. I'm going to hit the 1 key again. Alright. Alright, so with that done, that's one part. And that took about 29 minutes. I told you this was going to be, it's just time consuming. It's not hard work, it's just time consuming. So I'm going to go Control 1. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to click on the next one here, which is this one. And we're going to go ahead and select it and do Control 1. So what I'm doing is I'm going to do one section like that, right, which is all the way down at the bottom. 2. Okay, so once I show you one, the other one will work just the same. You have to do the same techniques that I've learned, or I showed you. And then we're working on this one. If I do this complete one, then you can do this one, and this one, and this one, and this one on your own. And of course, because we've done the top one, you can do that one. Again, you got to problem solve stuff out. Don't start adding lines if they don't make any sense. The lines have to go somewhere. Like I said that earlier in one of the modules, if you have a cut across here and it stops right there, you got to cut all the way through, otherwise it won't look right. Or get rid of the ones that you have, the cuts that you have. That's really super important. So I'm going to do Control 1 again. And I think I know what's wrong now is because this section of the top here needs to be with that. And this section's okay, but I can see this section too as well, right here. I don't think we need those necessarily, but it might look weird without it. So I'm going to do a Control 1 again. And you can see up here, okay, we need to have that piece. Okay, so I'm going to select this guy, do Control 1, and let's see, is it underneath here somewhere? I guess we don't have one. Well, that kind of tells us that we need to create something on top. So I'm going to go Control 1. So if we see something like that, then we might need to create it, okay, which can be kind of tough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you can't really do and append a polygon tool. It won't work. Meaning I can do this and that's about it, and hit the Enter key, but it doesn't give me a quadrangle, right? So that's the best I can do. So how do I fill that in? The Fill Hole tool won't work because it's not closed. But if I go into Edge, click on this edge, and do an Extrude, Control E, and then I can, you know, this is a good time to use the manipulator here now. I'm going to hit the arrow key, and it kind of like that, just pull it up, and so it matches right here. Now the only thing you will have to do is merge the vertices, which is pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go to vertex mode, select those vertices, just those, okay, and I'm going to go into Edit Mesh and merge the center, okay, and do the same thing over here, just those two right there. And I'm not too terribly worried, okay, about messing stuff up, because it's easier for me to fix. Let's go in here, hit the G key, or you can go back into Edit Mesh and merge the center. Right. So that's fixed. I got the top piece. That's needed. Any other pieces that are missing, probably want to take care of those too. This one here too. Even though I think that's against an object, it still needs to be taken care of, so I'll take care of that. And that's just as easy, going into Edge mode, Control E, and then using the blue arrow. Okay? And then when you're done, you cannot forget to merge vertices. So I'm going to move around, select those two, marquee select them, and go to Edit Mesh, merge the center, and do the same thing over here. That one right there. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to stay up on this one, and I'm going to stop now because we're at 34 minutes. Again, time consuming. Not tough work, but just time consuming. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop, and I'll see you in part 4.